Stage and Screen with Andy Snowden. Let us know what you want to hear on WhatsApp with the number 01978 540 410. We love local. Calon FM.
You should have seen it. You should have been there. You won't believe this.
Wow, what a track that is. Everybody's talking about Jamie, and that's The Feeling, and that was taken from the movie version of the musical Everybody's Talking About Jamie, currently on a massive UK tour, and at the moment is starring the brilliant Darren Day, who is waiting to speak to us over there in Llandudno from his dressing room at the venue Cymru. Darren, good afternoon, sir.
Hello, Andy, mate. How you doing?
Fantastic. Thanks ever so much for speaking to us. I really appreciate it.
Oh, pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure.
How's life with you? All right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, how's life with you, mate?
All well, thanks. Yeah. Just not too bad. Getting ready for Christmas.
Yeah, I know. It's nearly here, isn't it, actually? Yeah.
Yeah. Seems to come round far too fast. I think it's when you have kids. 1 minute...
Oh, mate. The old... Certainly, I find the older... I mean, you remember when we were kids... Like Christmas to Christmas felt like an eternity, didn't it? Now it's the older I get, the more it flies by.
It's crazy. And lockdown as well. When lockdown happened, I thought, God, it's Christmas again.
Yeah, I know. Madness.
Anyway,
mate.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I've got to say, when every now and again when I do a bit of research on somebody, something hits me upside the head, and I learnt this morning that at the age of 17 you were a professional snooker player. Is that right?
Yeah, that is definitely one of the lesser known facts about me. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What are we talking here? How long was you a pro?
I played for a year. I mean, I played professionally for a year and a half. But I mean, I was playing snooker from the age of 11. I had the, don't try this at home, kids, but I had the epitome of the misspent youth, really.
Yeah.
And, I was certainly in the snooker halls more than I was at school, dare I say.
So who was you playing? What sort of people were you playing? Like Steve Davis, Dennis Taylor, those kind of guys?
Well, yes, around. I mean, Dennis Taylor's still one of my very good buddies. Dennis always he comes to a lot of my shows. Brings his family to a lot of my shows. So Dennis, I'm probably out of all of the guys, I'm probably closest to Dennis. But I mean, I tell you, actually, who else has become a really good mate of mine is Mark Selby.
Right, yeah.
Mark Selby's become a really good pal of mine. I guess I was bitten by the bug of snooker at the time when, sort of in the early 80s when snooker became very glamorous. I think when all the tournaments started to be televised, and there were all these exciting players, Alex Higgins and Jimmy White, and I was just absolutely bitten by the bug of it. And then around about the same time, my dad bought me a snooker table, 6x3, that he and I played on, and then my granddad bought me a 5-foot table that he and I played on. And so I sort of played at home, and then around about the time I started sort of realising I had a bit of a knack for it, a brand new club opened up in Colchester where I lived, my hometown, called Q's. And I started playing in there, and one afternoon I made a 136 clearance, 136 clearance, and the guy that owned the snooker club watched me do it, and he said, I'd like to sponsor you. So what I used to do is before I went to school in the morning, I used to go down the snooker club, brush and iron all the tables, and then that earned me my free snooker after school. So I'd do that before school, go to school. Some days I'd go to school, and then I'd go down the snooker club, and I played pretty much 4 hours a day. And I started winning all the local tournaments, and then sort of moved up to London, and then I turned pro when I was 17. And I played with them all, really. I played with Jimmy White, I played with Tony Knowles back in the day, and I had a great relationship with Alex Higgins the last sort of 2 or 3 years of his life, and I remember us doing an exhibition match in London, and it got down to the black ball, And it was the first time I'd ever played Alex, and Alex was certainly probably, out of all of them, he was my sort of childhood hero.
Yeah.
And I remember getting down, and I had this really, really long pot on the black. And I got down, and there was an audience there, and I got down to pot it, and then I sort of stood up to compose myself, because I thought, if I knock this in, I'm going to beat Alex Higgins, you know, which was kind of quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I stood up. And bless Alex, he walked over to me, and I was like, "Oh God, what's he going to say?" And he just said, "Smash it in, son." And I got down, and I potted it, and I beat Alex. So I mean, I was good. I don't think I was, I wasn't good enough really. I don't think I'd have ever been world champion. And then it's a funny story, really. I had the most unorthodox way of coming into this industry, because I was still playing professional snooker, and a mate of mine, unbeknownst to me, applied for a spot on Opportunity Knocks when Bob Monkhouse took the show over in 1988, because I always did impressions. It was my impressions, and singing was sort of my little party piece, and I got accepted, and I thought, oh well, it'll be a laugh, so I got a little act together and went and did it, and I won it, and I won Opportunity Knock. So it's sort of, that is the sort of the pivotal moment, if you like. That's the moment that changed direction in my life.
But I remember your impressionist, your act that you did in the sort of late 80s, wasn't it?
Do you?
And I've always thought with impressionists, it is a skill that's, you've either got it or you ain't. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And you definitely had it. All the impressions you did are incredible.
Thank you. And I mean, you're right. It's not, you can't really teach an impression unless someone has got, if someone has got an ability for it, then you can teach an impression. I did Spit in Image for a couple of years, and sometimes if I was struggling with an impression, then sometimes like another impressionist could teach me how to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's just about finding the thing, whether it be a tone of the voice or you just sort of have to find the thing that makes the penny drop, and you master it. And sometimes another impressionist can help you with that. Bobby Davro helped me with that. My dear departed friend Joe Longthorne helped me with that a lot. And but yeah, so it was just something I did, and then suddenly that kind of that created work from winning up knocks. I did, as I said, I did Spit in Image, and I think really, Andy, that if I'm honest, I think over the years with the musical theatre stuff, I think the ability to impersonate has helped me with certain shows. When I did Summer Holiday, I basically sort of played it as Cliff. When I did Grease, I played it as Travolta, John Travolta. And I think it's given me, it's helped me blag my career better, let's just say that. I think I've managed to blag it much better in being able to, as a singer, it's helped me. I mean, here's a strange thing. I can hit a note as Stevie Wonder that I can't hit as me. And that sounds really weird, but it's true. I think it's something that I do with my voice.
Yeah.
So even, so the ability to impersonate has helped me with characters. It's helped me with the singing. It's helped me with the acting. And because I guess you're hiding behind someone else. You're hiding behind a persona of something else,
Well, the impressions are still, they're still coming thick and fast. And talking about singing, I saw I saw something on YouTube the other day of you doing all the members of Take That. And it wasn't like you were kind of going, oh, that sounds a bit like Mark. It sounded like you were listening to all of them. It was incredible. Oh,
mate, thank you. I really genuinely appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's I worked on when I went back. Basically, I don't know if you know Joe Longthorne. He passed away 4 years ago, but Joe was in the world of show business, I guess. As Alex Higgins was my hero in snooker, Joe was my hero in the world of show business. And he and I became friends, and in 2014 he became very ill and had to have a life-saving operation, and so he asked me to take over his tour, which I was incredibly flattered to be asked, and so I went back to Impressions, which is probably where you've seen that YouTube thing from.
Uh-huh.
But so I started working on some new ones, and so I worked on the Take That Boys. But what's been quite funny about that is, in the last since I did Celebrity Big Brother, really, Robbie Williams and I became friends, and now Rob is one of my best friends in the world.
Yeah.
So I remember we were on FaceTime a couple of years ago, just talking about impressions and stuff, and he said, I know, he said, you do me. and I was like, how do you know? He said, because I've seen it on YouTube. I was like, oh God. So if I do a concert now, I just do Gary and Mark, because Rob and I are really good mates. I feel like I shouldn't do his impression anymore, but...
Well, you're on the road at the moment, on the it's the new UK and Ireland tour of Everybody's Talking About Jamie. It's a massive tour. This, I know you're only doing you're only doing a fraction of it, but how is life on the road for you? Do you enjoy life on the road?
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying my work, I think, probably in the same way as I did in the early days of my career when it was all new. I don't know. I think post lockdown. I mean, I think probably for a majority of us, we appreciate things post-lockdown that maybe we took for granted before.
Very true.
And certainly the theatre business, certainly, there were times during that lockdown when you think, well, our theatre's ever going to open again? Is it ever going to be normal again?
Yeah.
And so I've been very lucky post-lockdown. I went, as soon as the theatres opened, I played Billy Flynn in Chicago for 6 months, and then I went straight into playing The Reverend in Footloose. And then the last 3 months I've been doing Ben Elton's new show about Twiggy's life in London. And then I've gone straight into Everybody's Talking About Jamie. And I think... I honestly think this is one of my favourite parts that I've ever done.
Yeah.
I've been in musical theatre for 30 years this year, and this definitely is. I'm absolutely loving being on stage with this role. I saw the show a few years ago when my mate Shane Ritchie was in it.
Yeah.
And remember thinking, wow, that's a great part, And so when I was asked to do it a few months ago, I sort of jumped at the chance, really, and I've only been in it a week. I finished the Twiggy musical last Sunday, and then I had one day in between, and then I opened this on the Tuesday.
Wow.
And I did Good Morning Britain in between on the Monday, so I didn't get lay in on the Monday. I was picked up at 5 a.m. But it's just brilliant, and we opened in Llandudno.
Well done.
I was trying to say. I got a bit of a hiding because I said it wrong on Good Morning Britain.
Oh, right, okay.
I had a few messages, let's just say. But I opened last night, and it's a really, really incredible show, It's really got everything in a way that not many shows do have. They have these wonderful, incredible songs, incredible choreography, and all this wonderful kind of spectacle going on, but at the same time there's a really beautiful storyline, a genuinely really lovely storyline, a very strong storyline as well, and you can't really say that with a lot of shows. And I genuinely, I'm really, like today, I'm looking forward very much to going out there and doing it. It gets an incredible reaction, and the people love it. It's a very, very happy company. And I think when you have a happy company, I think that definitely kind of, comes across to the audiences. And it's a fantastic show to be involved with. And I am just doing a little limited run on it, but I'm certainly going to enjoy every single performance that I do.
Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, it's the musical Everybody's Talking About Jamie, of course, and it's based on it's based on a true story. And when I found that out and I saw the show and I thought, I can remember this actually happening. This story of the young lad that wanted to go to the prom dressed in drag essentially and wasn't allowed. So did he take him to court? How did it work? I can't remember.
Well, it's fun because I remember it as well, and I although I'm a southerner, I was born in Essex. I've lived in London and Essex most of my life, but I did have 13 years where I lived up just south of Wakefield, and for Sheffield, where this is set, it wasn't, it was only a few junctions down the M1 from me. So I kind of, when I was offered this role, I thought the same as you. I thought, I'm sure I remember this story. And I think that's what makes it all the more poignant, is the fact that it's a true story. And, it's wonderful to be a part of something like this where, this lovely story of this young boy unfolds on stage in the same way as it actually unfolded in real life. And you don't get that very much, do you, Andy, with shows? There aren't many shows. I mean, ironically enough, the show that I've just done, that wasn't fictional. That was, I played Tweedy's ex-husband, Michael Whitney, and all the stuff that was going on stage really happened. And it's the same with this one. But it's just the reaction that this show gets at the end, it's a standing ovation every night. And I've never, although I've been lucky enough to do all the big shows, Joseph, Grease, and Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Rocky Horror Show, I've never seen a show get a bigger reaction than this. It's as big as I've ever known. And people just seem to absolutely love it. And we love doing it. So, yeah, happy days, Andy. I think the fact that I've been for a long time now, I think to sort of 30 years on, to be doing a show, to be doing shows prolifically like I'm doing, I feel very fortunate anyway. But I think 30 years on from my first musical theatre job, to be doing a show that I'm genuinely, I can't wait to go out there and do every day. It's really great, to be honest with you. I feel incredibly lucky and fortunate and blessed, really, to be doing this.
Fantastic. I mean, as you said, I was just thinking then, because I was talking to the actor Stephen Parry yesterday, and he's made a documentary about the abolishment of Clause 28, which was brought in by the government. Everybody might remember the Margaret Thatcher speech that children shouldn't have a right to be gay, that one. And we were saying that it seems in the last 30 years, society has embraced, rather quickly I would have thought, embraced stories like this one of Jamie New. And I think it does go to show that the amount of people and the amount of awards that this show has been thrown at it, it just goes to show, I think, how society is shifting with the times.
Yes, I absolutely agree, and I think that's another part. As much as being involved in this show, and I think I speak for all of the cast and everyone involved with the show. It's more than a job, actually. I think it's really important that this show is out there, and I think we all feel a certain responsibility with it, on a culture kind of level, without being too deep, that it's a really important show. And I agree with you, sometimes when, if you talk to someone or you remember something, if you think back to, certainly, when I was a kid in the 70s, if you think about certain things, you can't quite believe that the world was like that once.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important. It's a really important show, and thank God, things have changed. I mean, if you think about it, yes, they've changed in the last 30 years, but I think they've changed radically in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And my brother is gay, and he's married, very happily married, and been with his partner for many, many years, and you know, for people like my brother and my friends who are gay, and this is an incredibly important show, and it's an important show that we all unite, you know, and live and let live, because, you know, it's like with my children, I've always said, you know, that Jamie and his dad is just appalling. It's kind of barbaric, really. It's you know, how he disowned him, and it's like I've always said to my kids, I don't mind who they are, what they are, how they, you know, I would embrace anything, any way of life my children wanted to live, and I just think, when you think of the prejudice that there was, I mean, I'm not saying that the world is cured of prejudice, but I think we're in a much better place now, aren't we, Andy, than we were?
100%. 100%.
And please God, you know, that keeps progressing, and we get to an even better place in 5 years or 10 years' time. But I do think it's a really important show, with a really, really important message. But that message is put across in an incredibly entertaining show, you know. But I think we all feel it. And I think particularly the younger people in this show, you know, who are what they call the year 11s in the show. Yeah. But, you know, I think they feel it's a really important thing to be involved with. I think, you know, I think it's great, and I'm as well as feeling lucky and fortunate to be performing in a great musical, I do feel quite privileged to be a part of something that is a really important message as well.
Fantastic. And you close at Llandudno. You've chosen a good time to play by the seaside, by the way. The last week in November is not the ideal time, is it? How is the weather? No, certainly. Let's just say, just walking from stage door to my car last night, I was pretty soaked. You know, but I was pretty wet. You know, I've always enjoyed coming here, and I've been lucky enough to come here with quite a few shows in my career, and it's always a lovely place to come to, and the people are really lovely, they're friendly, and they really get theatre, and they enjoy theatre, and you know, I was chatting to a few of the audience members at Stage Door last night, and you know, they loved the show, and so I always look forward to coming here, even if it's in the rain. Yeah. I look forward to coming here. Yeah. Fantastic, Darren Day. It's been a treat speaking to you, my man. Thanks ever so much for that. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. It's been lovely to speak to you too, and have a very happy Christmas. And I wish all your listeners a Merry Christmas and a very happy 2024.
Cheers. Same right back at you, my man. Take care of yourself. All the best.
You too, my friend, mate. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, mate.
I've got to be honest with you, I'd rather like that. There you go, back in 2020, Darren Day and Gemma Collins. Baby, It's Cold Outside. And fantastic. She's quite a good singer, isn't she? So, everybody's talking about Jamie. Will be closing tonight at the Venue Cymru. If you want to go along to that box office number for the Venue Cymru, 01492 87 2000. That's 01492 87 2000. And Darren Day will be in Everybody's Talking About Jamie until the end of the month, and then there will be a cast change. Fantastic. Everybody's Talking About Jamie, Darren Day on the Stage and Screen show. That'll do, won't it?
Stage and Screen with Andy Snowden. Let us know what you want to hear on WhatsApp with the number 01978 540 410. We love local. Calon